to update your website using the Visual Builder. Assuming you've logged in, and usually the first page you'll land on is the dashboard page, so it'll look a bit like this. What you need to do is then jump to the visit site at the top, and you can then navigate through your website as you usually would, but you'll see this black bar that appears at the top. That just basically means you're logged in as the admin. So what I'm going to do is just update some of the text, update some of the imagery just on this site to show you sort of how those tools work. First things first, you want to click on the Enable Visual Builder that appears at the top, and what that will do, it will enable us to design and change some of the aspects within the page. So it'll take a couple of seconds to load that in. And once that loads back in, you'll notice initially that it doesn't look a whole lot different. And that's one of the beauties of this builder, is the fact that you can sort of build it as you see it. So as you sort of hover over different sections, you'll get these boxes that appear, and they usually indicate the areas where you're going to edit things. So the page is broken down into sections, columns, and then you've got your content. So they're indicated by different colours. So the sections would be blue, the columns would be green, and sort of the content would all be sort of this grey colour here. So for example, if we want to update some of the text on this section here, what we do is we can just hover over the area we want to update, click on the cog, and then from this section here we can drag this out if you want to, and drag this to the side, and we can start making changes. Oops, I pressed the wrong button. Let's go back. So we can start making changes within here. If we want to change any styling, we can click on this design tab, and because this is a header, and you can usually see that if you just hover over this, you'll see that it's heading 3. Click on the design tab, click on the header text, and you'll see that it's highlighted blue because you've got some styling attached to that. And from here you can then adjust all the different sizes. You can change the sizes depending on what device you're on. So if you click on mobile, you can adjust the size for mobile, do things like center it. So if you want to add a particular style to a different device, then hover over this section here and you click on the mobile sort of icon and then click through. So if you wanted it center aligned on mobile but not on desktop, that's how you do it. We wanted it left aligned on desktop, but it will keep it centered on the mobile device. Now I'm not going to save any of these changes, but I'll show you how to save them once you've made those changes. So you'll have this section, and it might look a little bit like this, where you've got this sort of purple circle at the bottom. So if you click on that, you can actually view the website on different devices, or you can actually save it. So as soon as you hit save, those changes will be live on the site. So say we want to now update the pictures, and we can go into the cog, and again you've got this sort of panel that appears, and you've got an area where you can change the image. So I'm just going to put this rocket in place, and you can make any changes to that. So you can go to design, sizing, you can adjust the sizing, and again you can do that differently for different devices. You can change the alignment of that, change the height, everything like that you can change. You can change spacing, borders, drop shadows. Yeah, there's loads of things you can do. So say you wanted to move it down slightly, you could go into your spacing and either remove that, and that should drop it down, or increase that, and if you hold shift it will go in increments of 10, so you can sort of make those adjustments. Now before you save, it's worth checking to see how that looks on different devices, because sometimes it will look good on one of them and not others. And we'll see here that actually this doesn't appear on devices smaller than desktop. You can tell just because it's a little bit more transparent even when you hover over it. So you can hide certain elements by clicking on the image, going to advanced and then visibility. And then we can sort of tick any devices that you want to disable it on. So I'm just going to go back to desktop. So you want to update some of the actual content on the site. You can do it here. So all the content goes in this section. And then if you want to update any sizing, rather than clicking on the header text, you click on the text tab. You can change things like color. You can change the size. All that sort of stuff you can do directly from that. And that's pretty much it for the basics. Obviously, if you want to add more elements, say you want to add another text box, you can sort of duplicate boxes, and you've got a whole new box to add. If you want to add a completely new, say you want to add an image or a button under here, you can click on the plus, and then you've got a whole range of modules that you can add in there. You can just search, so say you want to add a button, we can do that. It might be that you have to change some of the styling to get that to work. So you can see the button there. You can add a link to that. So go into content, you can add a link. So you can add, external website link, or if you want to add a link within the site itself, you can click on this dynamic content. Click on page link. And then you can go through and find any pages that you want within there. So just delete that. Say you accidentally deleted something, you can do Control or Command Z, and that can go back. If you completely break the page, don't worry, just don't hit save, and if you just click on Exit Visual Builder, it'll basically reset it back to before you started any work. Or you can go into this little clock here, and it basically records history of everything you've done, so you can sort of step back, and eventually we'll get to the point where it looks exactly how it did before. And then once you're happy with that, you can just click on the tick, and away you go. I think that's pretty much everything. If there's any other elements you want to sort of update, then please let me know. But that should be it for the sort of the basic tutorials. Yeah, get in touch with me, and I'll help you out. Thank you very much. Cheers.